me, say hello.
Hi everyone.
Amy's going to be with me. She's really looking forward to it because this is one of her favorite dishes. But she has to work. I'm not. I'd rather work today, but federal government can be really stupid some days. Well, a lot of days. So, before we begin, let's hit the like, share, subscribe button. And with our mac and cheese, we're going to use some fusilli noodles. And the reason for that, if you look at the shape of them, it gives a little bit more for it to be able to wrap the cheese sauce around, makes it a little bit better that way. So I've got boiling water. I'm going to reduce it down to 5, which is medium high. And I'm just going to slowly pour noodles in. And I think I might actually have to add more water.
You might have to.
No, I don't think it's a might. I think it's...
Because you want the noodles to be covered.
Yeah, we want the noodles to be covered, so I'm going to add some more water. Now, to any of our American audience out here, I'm going to let you in on a little bit of a secret. One of Canada's famous foods that we really like, I don't think you can get it down there, but it's called crab dinner.
Yeah.
Don't think you can get it there. You might be able to get boxed mac and cheese, and you know what? It might be good. It really might be, but the problem is it's not Kraft dinner. And when I say that, it does make a difference because Kraft dinner is probably way better than any other brand you're going to get out there. There's something about it that they have engineered that makes it taste incredible, and it does taste good. It tastes really good, but there's a few problems with it. Number one, after COVID, the price went from 99 cents to basically $4.
Yeah.
That's really disgusting, and it's not a fair price. It's not a good price. And then number two, there's a lot of sodium and there's a lot of sugar in it. We like it. It's one of our guilty pleasures. Alex, like when you were a kid, how often did you eat it?
Quite often.
When I was young, I'm not even kidding you here, we probably had it 3 or 4 times a week. You put water in a pot, you boil, you put noodles in, you let it go, and then you put your margarine or butter in, you put your milk in, stir it around, put the sauce or put the powder in. It's not sauce, it's a powder. You put it in, you serve it. You might serve it with some hot dogs, put a little ketchup or barbecue sauce. Yeah, I know it doesn't sound so good, but some people do. And there's your quick, easy meal that your parents probably don't mind you doing because it's not that hard to do, and you're probably not going to wreck the kitchen. It's not healthy. Now, we're going to be doing a homemade version of it with a homemade cheese sauce. I know a lot of people make things a little bit more complex. I'm not going to be doing the breadcrumbs. I'm not going to make a crazy over-the-top sauce. And we're not baking it. This one is a really easy that anybody, including Amy, can make. And Amy will probably slap me off the head for saying that. Amy's a good cook, by the way. She really is. So these noodles, and I'm going to start the timer now just to give it a little head start. Oh, helps I do it right. These noodles take about 10 minutes. Now, with anything, read your instructions on your noodles because they're probably going to be different than mine. We're going to start off by letting these cook for the right time here. Yeah, I didn't do it exactly when they're in, only because I had to add a little bit more water, so I had to give them time to get a little hot too. Come back, stir them a little bit, let them cook. Try them out. It might not take 10 minutes, it might only take 8. Big deal. But make sure they're done. When they're done, put them through a strainer, and then we're going to put it back in the pot off the heat. Just to make sure that they're not still cooking because they'll get soggy, sticky, and it won't be worth eating.
And they might get burnt too.
Yeah, we don't want that.
No.
So just make sure your noodles are cooked first, and then once this is cooked, we're going to come back to it and we'll start our sauce. And this is really quick and easy. It does not take a whole lot of effort. It's super easy. So we're going to come back and just hit the like, share, subscribe button. Welcome back. So So we got less than a minute left for our noodles. And if you're watching, if you look at the noodles, they've hardened up quite a bit. So, well, I mean hardened up. They've enlarged. And so now what we're going to do...
They would have softened up, wouldn't they?
They do soften, yes. Harden's the wrong choice of words. But they have become larger and they are nice and soft. So that's what we want. So now we're going to start making our cheese sauce. Now I'm going to start off at 5, medium high, and then I'm going to come over and we're going to start using some margarine. You can use butter if you want. Butter is really bloody expensive here, so I'm just not going to use it.
It doesn't really matter what you use.
Yeah. I know a lot of people, especially the purists, are going to say, oh, you absolutely, positively have to have butter. You don't. I'm going to use a little bit of oil just so nothing starts to get destroyed in the oven.
People might get mad at me for saying this, but I honestly don't see much of a difference between butter and margarine.
There
is a bit of a difference in the taste.
Oh, there's a huge difference. There's a very, very huge difference, and I'll explain to you what that is. And it's not a stupid question, and it's not a stupid thing. A lot of people honestly don't know.
Yeah.
And that's fine. Alright, so I've got this out. I'm not going to rinse it because the starch from the noodles are very important. So I'm going to put this in here, back in here, and it doesn't spill yet. So I'm just going to close the lid there, and there's a difference. Butter is a little bit more natural.
Yeah.
So it is a little bit better. It is much better product by far. It's much better. Margarine is a little healthier, but
it has a bit of a chemical taste, I find.
Yeah, it definitely does. Because it's definitely not natural where butter is.
Yeah.
So, I mean, butter can be better to use, but it's expensive. So I'm going to put some flour in here and we're going to make a little bit of a roux. I would use my front burner, but it doesn't work. And as much stuff as my building management will fix, and they will, unfortunately, sometimes getting them to do everything is a little bit of a pain. It is what it is. Okay, so we got that mixed in. I'm going to put a little bit more in, actually. It helps. It's going to help to thicken our sauce a little bit.
Yeah.
So we do want that. So I'm using a 1/4 cup.
If you don't have flour usually isn't very expensive.
No, it's not. And to be honest with you, you don't need it. You really don't. But it's always good to have. So I'm going to use coconut milk. And then I'm going to stir this in here. And I think I'm actually going to open up my second can. So I'm not satisfied. And if I'm not satisfied, it ain't good enough. There we go. When you're using a can opener that's not electric, be very, very careful because it can do things really sharp.
Yep. Be careful of the lid when you open it up.
Yep, absolutely. So we're going to start stirring that in here. Now here is what's going to be a little painful, and this is what a lot of people don't do right when they're making their sauce. Now this is a half a block of cheese, and then I also have a full container of Black Diamond white cheddar cheese sauce. It was on sale, so you know what, why not? Let's try that out. When you put your cheese in, don't put it all in right away. I'm going to put some right there, and we're going to stir this a little bit until it starts melting, absorbing in. Oh, and it's already doing that, so we got lucky. Now, one thing I'm going to tell you, never ever, especially when you're going to cook with it, if it's a cheese that you need to cook with that needs to be melted, never buy pre-grated cheese.
Yeah.
Just don't ever do it.
It's really bad for you.
It is, and it's because it contains a lot of different chemicals and stuff to help it not melt. Some people say that, and I've heard this, I don't know how true it is, and I don't think it's true, but people complain that, oh yeah, it's not good for you because it contains sawdust.
Yeah.
That's kind of a little funny to me, but it seems to be going good, so I'm just going to dump the rest in.
I think it actually does contain sawdust, doesn't it?
I've heard that, but I mean, how true that is, I don't know. I would like to say it doesn't, but
Yeah.
But the quality is so bad that this is something that we've always done. I'm going to put a little bit of mustard in.
Just give it some flavor.
Yeah, just to give it a little bit of flavor. And I know this is over here because I use this every morning. I'm going to put a little bit of pepper. If you have white pepper, we do. I'm just too lazy to find it. That's always a good option. This would be very, very sacrilegious to a French person, because for a white sauce, they always insist on using white pepper, which
Right.
is not hard to get. It's not even that expensive, but it's around here somewhere, so I'll just say that. Now you see that as this cooks down, it's actually getting thick out, and that's thickened. And that's because the roux really does help that. Now we'll spur the rest of the cheese. Or maybe I can just put that in now. I'll add this to this. Now, people say, well, how much cheese do you need? Well, maybe a full block, or what I'm doing, a container of cheese sauce and half a block. You don't need to go absolutely crazy. You really don't. It would be kind of silly to do that because, honestly, you can probably put 5 blocks in it if you really wanted to.
Yeah.
It wouldn't take much. But, I mean, it gets to a point where you start wasting.
Yeah.
And you don't want to waste food, especially not cheese. It's expensive.
It's very expensive.
Yeah, so you don't want to get to the point where you're just wasting your money. You just don't do that. Just want to take your time and stir that. I find 2 different types of cheeses. One of them's Havarti, one of them's white cheddar. And you'll see this actually melts pretty quick. You don't want to have your heat on too high because then it starts burning and you're just not getting the right yield out of it. And then Amy's going to get a nice little surprise because we're going to walk down Giverson. Nice, thick, and cheesy. See how cheesy that is, Alex?
Yeah.
Alright, so I'm going to take this off here.
Did you use all the grated cheese?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
So that was hand grated, by the way.
Yeah.
Just to make sure it's clarified.
That wasn't pre-grated cheese.
I've never bought a bag of, well, I might have, I don't remember it. It's very rare for me to ever want to buy it.
Yeah.
Like, for me to buy it, I'd have to have something that I'm not going to be using it to cook.
I have bought like the pre-grated cheese before, but I do realize that it's not very good for you.
No. And it would have to be really cheap, on sale, and for me to even have an interest in even doing it.
Yeah.
If it's not cheap, and I'm not going to cook with it, or, you know what I mean, it's often cheaper. I mean, believe it or not, it's cheaper to buy a block and grate it yourself. It's way cheaper. Now, I wouldn't go buy it, then grate it, and then use it a couple days later, because it's going to get sticky. It's not going to. It's just not going to have the same effect that you want. And we might go see Amy. I've already walked all of today. And see how well good this looks?
Yeah, it does look good.
Very cheesy. I mean, I may actually have to go out and boil the rest of the noodles just to submerge this all and make sure I use the rest of the sauce up. That's probably what I'm going to do. But that's pretty much my homemade mac and cheese. Hope you guys like this. Hit the share, like, subscribe button here. And you see here, it's coming off the spoon here. It's nice and creamy. When this sits for a little bit and cools down a little bit, this will get a lot more, it will get thicker on its own. Don't have to do a whole lot there. And it's going to taste amazing. So, hope you guys like it. Drop some comments. We thank you for being our viewer, and you guys have a great day.